Let you all open all your three eyes. Om Nityananda Paramashivanam.
Let's start with the Sadguru Vandanam. Nityanandam Paramasukhanam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gaganasadusham Tattvamasyaadilakshయం Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Let's go through the disclaimers. Security measures. No photography, video, audio recording. Important cautions. Please be aware of the important cautions. What is spa manifestation? Let's hear from Bhagwan himself explaining what is spa manifestation.
All the 25 states of consciousness, when they happen in you due to your chemicals and hormones ups and downs, it is powerlessness. When it happens in you out of your free will and consciousness, it is powerfulness. That's all. When you fall into sleep, it is powerlessness. When you enter into sleep, it is powerfulness. When you fall into dream, it is powerlessness. When you decide to dream, it is powerfulness. So I have added the ultimate powerfulness, Turiyatita, in your whole being and doing. Manifest all the powers. Understand, power manifestation is nothing but cognitive shift. It is not work. It is cognitive shift. Understand? It is just cognitive shift. It's not work. Work is a 4-letter word. Power manifestation is cognitive shift, playing with life, playing with being alive. Static matter, dynamic activity, strategic existence, all these three has no boundary. You are one with it. You are alive in everything. Everything listens to you. Everything decides as you want. Power manifestation is cognitive shift, raising your frequency, not work.
Now let's understand who is Paramashiva. Bhagwan himself has beautifully explained the Paramashiva in all of us.
Paramashiva does manifestation, maintenance, rejuvenation, pulling out of delusion and liberation. He resides in his supreme Paramashiva Swarupa as Ajomuha or Adhomuha, unborn, beyond form, formlessness. Is Paramashiva Swarupa. That Paramashiva Swarupa manifests with these 5 faces as Sadashiva, Tatpurusha, Vamadeva, Ahora, Satyojata, Ishana. 5 faces he manifests and does the Panchakritya, Srishti, manifestation, Sthiti, sustenance, Samhara, rejuvenation, Trobhava, pulling out of delusion, Anugraha, liberation. Understand? He does all these 5 jobs. Through these 5 phases. Now listen carefully. Tatpurusham, Vamadevam, Satyojatam, Ahoram, Ishanam. These 5 phases does Panchakrityas. Each phase, each dimension is not just one F-A-C-E phase, P-H-A-S-E phase. It's not just F-A-C-E, P-H-A-S-E. Understand? The creation, not just creation getting created, even sustenance need to be created, destruction need to be created, and pulling out of delusion need to be created, liberation need to be created. Then creation, manifestation need to be maintained. Maintenance, sthiti itself need to be maintained. Destruction, samhara, the rejuvenation need to be sustained, maintained when it is happening. Pulling out of delusion, trobhava, need to be maintained when it is happening. And anugraha, liberation, need to be maintained when it is happening. Those micromilliseconds when it is happening. So understand, Satyojata Murti as 5 phase, Ishana Murti as 5 phase, Vamadeva Murti as 5 phase, Agora Murti has 5 phase, Tatpurusha Murti has 5 phase. So, Tatpurusha Murti has his 5 phase, Agora Murti has his 5 phase, Vamadeva Murti has his 5 phase, Satyojata Murti has his 5 phase, Ishana Murti has his 5 faces. All these 5 Murtis, five faces put together is 25 faces of Mahasadashiva.
Bhagavan beautifully explained Paramashiva. Now, who is His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Nityananda Paramashivam? Let's hear from Bhagavan himself. Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagadguru Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Nityananda Paramashivam, is a reviver of Kailasha, the ancient enlightenment civilization, the great cosmic borderless nation. Is an avatar from and is a supreme pontiff of Hinduism. His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Nityananda Paramashivam, has made science of power manifestation, yoga, temple-based university for humanity, Sovijian order of Kailasha led by His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Nityananda Paramashivam, and Nityananda order of monks, nuns, Hindu diasporas are working for global peace to give superconscious breakthrough to humanity. Nityananda Hindu University, world's largest with extended campus in 150 countries, is collecting, organizing, preserving, time-capsuling, decoding, spreading and reviving 20 million source books of Hinduism and 64 sacred arts, science like Ayurveda, music, dance, sculpting, astrology, Vastu, and many more. His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Nityananda Paramashivam, is 293rd Guru Mahasannidhanam of Shamala Pita Sarvanya Pita, ancient apex body of Hinduism and present emperor of Surya Vamsa Surangi Swamrajyam. His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Nityananda Paramashivam, has survived the worst persecution of multiple assassination attempts on person and character by anti-Hindu elements. Beautifully, Bhagavan now explains who is His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Nityananda Paramashivam.
Everything is infinitely powerful. You realize your potentiality. You establish yourself in the completion, space of completion. You are God, that's all. All of us are gods. The first experience is that I was able to see everything around me, above me, the whole 360 degree. I realized not only I was able to see, I was able to feel, experience the skin of the stone on rock on which I was sitting and the skin of this body. Both carry me equally. In both I exist equally. Sangha is a place where the tattvas are taught to you, and till it becomes satya, you are supported. Akhadas are basically founded by Sadashiva himself. All is ganas, Shiva ganas. Exactly the word gana means. In your length, breadth, depth, if you are filled by Shiva, you are Shiva gana. All the Shiva ganas formed the first Akhada. Later on, much later, Kapila Muni organizes Mahanirvani Akhada. Then all other Akhadas. As Mahamandaleshwar of Mahanirvani Akhada, the oldest apex body of Hinduism, I welcome every one of you. What I am teaching is from original Agamas Yogapada. The science very clearly declares, Sadashiva is very clear, manifestation of these powers happen when you experience oneness with Sadashiva. When you choose your guru, the best thing is find a person who is enlightened, experienced, who can play with energy, who can directly transmit experience to you, and who is in tune with the original Shastras, the source of the knowledge. All the revealed scriptures available about the yoga directly by Sadashiva for you to do research, study, practice, question the people who teach.
The science of power manifestation is a gift to the humanity, which is authentic, time-tested, scientific, and foolproof. Diksha, or the initiation from His Divine Holiness, Nityananda Paramashivam, makes the science directly an experience for the initiates. The experience is directly authenticated by the Pramanas. The Shastra Pramanas, the eternal, unchangeable truth revealed in the source scriptures, the Veda and Agamas. The Apta Pramanas, the experience of the Rishis, Munis, Ganas, Nayanamars, Alvars, and Siddhars, who are the authority of Hinduism, who have scientists who time-tested and verified the science of power manifestation. The Atma Pramanas are the avatar who land on the planet Earth to give a superconscious breakthrough to humanity. His Divine Holiness Bhagavan Nityananda Paramashivam, this millennium's avatar, personal experience of power manifestation. Shakshi Pramanas, or the experience of the millions of disciples, devotees, and followers initiated into the science of power manifestation by Bhagavan himself. Pratyaksha Pramanas, or the scientific studies which can be measuring the effect of being in the enlightened state.
Nityananda Jnana Paddhati for the power of depth dimension. Now let's go to the powerful cognition from Bhagavad Gita decoded from Bhagavan Satsang for the depth dimension.
Very smoothly, successfully, and strongly spiritually successful. Such an intense work on every person, individual. This inner awakening shows the power of spiritual strength. Actually, I was working on developing and further sharpening and making the inner awakening a strong experience to the core. We are very successful at this time, adding more and more stronger, deeper truths, more homas, pujas, everything we have increased. The number of pujas, number of the rituals, and the number of meditations, number of prasas. I believed even when I said I am enlightened. But they cannot believe that I will wake up every morning regularly and come in a time. Because if you see, before I started this satsang, my lifestyle, routine and me don't get along well. Routine, especially early morning sleep. If there is no program, I'll slowly get out of the bed, 10 o'clock only. I'll wake up, I won't sleep. I'll wake up by 4 o'clock. After 4 I won't sleep. But I'll just sit, stretching the leg. I will not read, I will not see TV, nothing, no activity. Just I'll sit in samadhi, gazing at the wall. Nothing. Then slowly by 10 o'clock, I'll come out and walk up to the temple do namaskar, then take bath. 1 o'clock I'll eat. It was a chaos. There was no routine.
My question is, I typically prioritize my business tasks by revenue. The higher the revenue, the higher the priority of the task. Is this verse 11 and 12 of chapter 5 applicable in the planning, execution, or both phases? Please clarify. Thank you, Swamiji.
Please understand, you doing the business tasks by the revenue, higher the priority is perfect. Nothing wrong. But when you start calculating your whole life just based on the money or the revenue, that is where something is seriously wrong. At some points, you may have to perform many actions which does not bring direct revenue, but which brings fulfillment. For example, all the actions in your relationship, family, you may have to get a toy and give it to your child. You may have to give a smile to your spouse. You may have to give a hug to your friend. Don't lose those dimensions. Unfortunately, if you put everything, the revenue sheet, toy is not revenue, it is only expense. A smile is not going to give you revenue. Those things only I am saying. Even when you need to do something which is related to your relationship, which does not bring revenue, be responsible for it, be total in it. Otherwise, you performing your actions based on the higher the revenue, higher the priority of task, perfect. Forget about you. Even I perform like that only. That is the way life happens. That is the way life is. But you will see in me the same totality and intensity when I perform all the actions which are not related to revenue, which are related to seva, service. When I conduct a medical camp, or when I conduct some satsang, or the mass programs, annadan, or any other social activities, social service activities which are nowhere related to revenue, you will see the same intensity in me. The prioritization may happen based on the revenue, but the smile cannot happen based on the revenue. See, after prioritizing, when you start working, then forget about everything. It should be a complete, total being. You prioritizing, see, if you are not prioritizing based on revenue, you can be a complete fool. I have seen penny-wise, pound-foolish fellows. They will save few pennies and lose not just pounds, millions of pounds. In planning, do prioritize based on the revenue, but when you execute, forget about the revenue. Be total, complete. Even planning as for revenue has to be done responsibly, intensely. When you execute, perform intensely without bothering about the reward.
Beautifully, Bhagavan said how you should not lose your smile and you should not just calculate your whole life. Calculation is not wrong, but calculating your whole life is completely wrong. It's so clear how Bhagavan is giving the powerful cognition. With the powerful cognition, let's go to the Shastra Pramana. Shastra Pramana for the power of depth dimension.
From the Shiva Sutras, verse 1.16. Shuddha tattva sandhanadva apashu shaktihi. Shuddha tattva sandhanadva apashu shaktihi.
Here in Shiva Sutra, Sutra 1.16, Bhagavan Paramashiva says, by fixing the self and aiming at the pure essence, cognizing from the depth of one's being that all that exists is Paramashiva, the pure essence, Suddha Tattva, and attaining, uniting with the pure essence and essential reality, Paramashiva, he experienced Paramashiva and manifests Paramashiva's infinite powers. Bhagavan beautifully says how we continuously calculate everything and we miss the whole essence. He says why we should not look for the result is because we make it very small and redundant and try to achieve it. But what could be the possibility of what could happen out of the results if we work as the ultimate? It simply will manifest new dimensions that we never even were able to grasp before. The whole science, Bhagavan says, how we have misunderstood. It is not results are wrong. Even he does that. He beautifully narrates. Calculating is, if you're not calculating, you're a fool, he says. That is correct. But calculating the whole life is completely wrong. You need to calculate when you need to give somebody some money and they give you return. Yes, but not when you're smiling at somebody. Oh, I am smiling this person because he's a doctor, he will be useful to me. Or this person is of no use. That is how we live. That is what Bhagavan is pointing out here. And he's telling how he, even when he's doing anadan or any activity, he is 100% present in every small thing that happens around him. Completely in awareness, in complete oneness with everything that he manifests as his reality. Bhagavan is asking us to look into that, where we are missing out, not able to be there when we are doing that. Constantly we are outside somewhere to find out something else when we are supposed to be doing what we are supposed to be doing. Bhagavan beautifully said, even if we like something so much and we want to eat that, but when we go there, we will be thinking of something or talking to somebody, completely not even bothered about what is going inside our body. Constantly living in unconsciousness, knowing that that is going to lead us into chaos, and doing that is a bigger blunder. And when we understand, if you consciously live, we'll understand the deeper truth. Bhagavan beautifully says here how the whole science that doing all the action that Paramashiva is manifesting through us and not calculating that and understanding that whatever is happening is auspicious. However difficult it is, Bhagavan always says it is auspicious. And when we ask him the question once, you know, all this is going to happen, which is going to bring you so much of bad names, lawsuit, hate speech. Why didn't you stop it? Bhagavan beautifully says, oh, I didn't know that was anything wrong in doing that. I thought everything is for auspiciousness, it's happening. I could never question my guru, and simply I only surrender and ask him what I can learn from that. Bhagavan's ultimate compassion and understanding
that everything that happens is auspicious, and life, nothing can violate you, and everything that is so beautifully happening in the very own self. The chaos is also order, and order is also chaos, Bhagavan says. The basic thing, how we are very calculative, trying to prevent nothing wrong should happen and mess up everything, and finally get into the total chaos. Bhagavan gave a powerful cognition to understand this science. Even when he is going through the worst, he could see everything as auspicious and beautifully says, oh, I didn't even know that these are not auspicious. Because when we asked him how and why he did not stop all these things, because he knew all this, that people are going to do this to him, but he does not consider any of them as inauspicious to stop these. Like, for example, if you have to write something on the board, I can't keep on writing. You have to at one point erase it and start. And the erasing, regeneration which happens is also part of the whole picture of deleting and editing to bring out the best. So that's all he views it as the situation, not trying to avoid something, but only in the humble space of surrender. And he always says, when the worst is happening, just be in prayerful space. It'll all manifest as the best reality. Such a beautiful, powerful cognition. With that, let's go to the Apta Pramana. The Apta Pramana for depth dimension, switching off the light. In Mahabharata, after Abhimanyu's death, Arjuna swears to kill Jayadratha. Krishna sends his Sudarshana Chakra in order to mask the sun and create an illusion of sunset. The Kaurava warrior rejoices over Arjuna's defeat and looks forward for an imminent suicide of Jayadratha, who was hiding behind the Duryodhana. It's revealed that he was saved. Therefore, he comes out of the formation. Suddenly, the sun is free from the eclipse, and Krishna tells Arjuna, pointing at the sun, and that the sun had not set, but it is only an illusion by him. But he then points at the hiding Jayadratha and telling Arjuna to sever his head, and shoot the head into the lap of Jayadratha's father. Arjuna quickly picks up the bow and shoots the Pashupatrashra at Jayadratha, and Jayadratha's head is taken with the arrow far from the battlefield, finally landing on the lap of his father. This is from Mahabharata Drona Parva, chapter. From the beautiful space of Krishna, he sends his Sudarshana Chakra to make an eclipse, and they thought the whole war is over because it was sunset, and then he removes and Jayadratha comes out of Duryodhana's back and he gets killed by Arjuna. Amazing possibility that Krishna creates for each and everybody's death, and how he beautifully staged the whole thing for Arjuna. And let's move to the Atma Pramana. Atma Pramanas are the Leelas of Bhagavan, where he narrates all the incidents of his life to raise the consciousness of the humanity.
I don't know how many of you today observed. I got a little late for the Dvajarohanam. It is supposed to be 6:40 to 7. I told the son, don't come out till I finish the Dvajarohanam. And today 40 minutes sunrise late. See the Biddi sunrise time today, See, there's a Google thing, there's one website where the sunrise time is supposed to be time and actual time is recorded. Today will be 40 minutes late. You want to see? It was actually only after I came out, finishing the Dvajarohanam, sun was even seen in the east. Not because of cloud. Cloud means he will be seen higher.
Beautifully, you can see the Krishna blocking the sun with his Sudarshana, or Bhagavan making the sun come up 40 minutes late. The ultimate space of oneness. Now we have the initiated disciple devotees, followers all over the world who are demonstrating the power of depth, switching off the light. And let's go to listen to the devotee.
Electricity, and obviously I couldn't continue giving the session because I had no internet. And at that moment in my space, I was like, no, I will not let this external happening stop me from giving this session. This is too auspicious. This session is too powerful. I just cannot give up. And so what happened, the solution came. So what happened is that I had someone's phone number who was part of the session. So I called that person, he put me on speaker, and then was holding the phone next to the computer. And I declared out loud, I told everyone, this is extremely auspicious because this Kriya is to manifest willpower, will persistence. So this is what we're gonna do. We're not gonna give up. I'm gonna give you the instructions. We're gonna go through the whole sequence and you're gonna get that experience. And I was really strong in that space that I wanted to make it happen, and it was going to happen. Like nothing could stop it from happening. So we started doing, so the whole session, that whole section of the session, we did basically like that, like just my voice through the phone. Okay, and this is when it happened. So at the end of that sequence, it was time for the part where we have to light the lamps. So, and there were about like 30 people at that point who were about to light their lamps. And I remember my inner space was really joyful. Like I got really excited and I just said it in such a joyful way. I said, okay, now it's time to light the lamps. As soon as the words came out, there was not even a 1 second gap. The whole like electricity, like the whole house just became lit like all over. It came back at that very second. It was just too powerful. It was just too obvious that Swamiji just created this whole drama just to be able to show, actually out of compassion, just to show everybody his presence, that everything, like he's so real, that third eye power is so real, that the power of our Vak, like Vak Shakti, the words that we give when we are in that conscious space and high frequency, every single thing manifests. And the whole thing was so auspicious and it's so hard to convey in words, but I was so shocked when I saw the whole happening. I screamed through the phone and everybody was, you know, in that space of excitement. And I was like, oh, like the light just came back. As the words were uttered, the whole thing just started happening all over again. Then the Wi-Fi came back and I was able to connect and come back. And I tell you, like the space of everybody, like on that group, on that Zoom chat was just so blissful. Everybody was just, you know, everybody knew that they had just experienced something so powerful. And
so amazing how the whole group experienced the power of getting the light on and off. Now let's go to the instruction to manifest the power of depth and Pratyaksha Pramana.
Pratyaksha Pramana. Scientific studies. What can be measured? Measuring the effects of being in enlightenment state. Vedic sciences have always maintained that consciousness is the very substance of space and time. His Divine Holiness, Bhagwan Paramahamsa Nityananda, has clearly defined the existence of 11 dimensions of consciousness. As per his elucidation, space can exist by itself. On the other hand, time can exist only in the presence of space, but can still exist without other dimensions, including the obvious ones, depth, length, and breadth. Source from Avatar Shastra, Chapter 2, Consciousness, page 83. In quantum terms, thought too is energy. Every cell of our body produces thoughts in the form of signals, which may be electrical, chemical, or otherwise. These can be measured in TPS, or thoughts per second. The normal TPS of the average human being can be hundreds of or thousands. Some thoughts are processed consciously, while others are processed unconsciously. A TPS of 0 is the state of Advaita, or enlightenment. Space is made up of strings of potential energy, which are in constant vibration, spanda, leading to the creation of virtual particles. This is the very basis of the Vedic truth of consciousness. In the Avatar Shastra, Swamiji mentions quantum physicist Amit Goswami's article about entanglement between two people. Quantum physicist of Indian origin, Amit Goswami, made two people meditate together. They were separated in two chambers, one person in each. When one person had a light stroked at his eye, it caused the firing of certain frequency in the brain. Remarkably, at the same moment, the other person's brain also fired, even though he never saw the light. This proves that the energies of people intuitively affect each other.
There are two kinds of movement in the world. One kind of movement is maximum speed limit with the speed of light. That's the kind of movement that is allowed in the domain that we call space and time. That's where matter moves, that's where things look diverse. But the other kind of domain is where the speed of communication is infinite. We call it non-local. That's the domain of potentiality. And if there is instant connection in that domain, then do you see it got to be one? If things are instantly interconnected, that interconnectedness is a oneness. That is the oneness that mystics and spiritual teachers talk about. That is the oneness. So simply by recognizing that objects are possibilities, we are looking at a oneness. And then it's just a question of language. Question of language. What should we call this oneness?
Whole brain activation studies were done on Nityananda Gurukul students. The Bender-Gestalt test assesses the level of whole brain activation, the student's ability to see the big picture and recall the details of it. It is more than an IQ test. It was showing outstanding results on the memory ability of the Gurukul students. It is very unusual for students to remember such a high number of Gestalt forms. Each Gurukul student attended to the test card carefully and persistently transposed the Gestalt form. Remaining calm, cool, and collected, they initially approached each Gestalt form with a keen observation and analysis of the form, and then exhibited a steady perseverance, attending 8-minute details. Source Avatar Shastra, Chapter 8, Third Eye Awakening, page 177. Charting Future Terrain with Higher Education. This article explores the role of contemplative practices within an emerging interdisciplinary area that are referred to as creativity and consciousness studies. Within the new area, consciousness is studied from an integral perspective that brings together insights from a range of wisdom traditions and modern science. Meditation is presented as an essential first-person modality for investigating consciousness, and formal and non-formal approaches to meditation and delineated to establish important guidelines for the introduction of meditation into an academic setting. The role of first-person experience helps to develop new notions of rigor and interdisciplinary learning that can lead to an expanded educational experience, which can help to develop qualities such as mental clarity, inner calm, insights, compassion, and creativity. The article closes with reflections on the importance of expanding our approach to education in light of the demanding challenges and creative opportunities in today's world. Source: Meditation, Creativity, and Consciousness. Power of depth dimension, switching off the light. Setting up. For the setting up process, you will need a camera with a timestamp. And Nanjana, if you have. Take a few moments to set up your camera. Step number 1, download the timestamp app. Step number 2, click on video. Step number 3, ensure that the time is shown on screen. And step number 4, make sure the camera is facing you. Please take a few minutes to set it up. Guidelines. Before we start the power manifestation process, let us get ourselves ready. For the setup, step number 1, choose a comfortable location to sit for the duration of the manifestation. Step number 2, if there's a window in the room, ensure that you close the blinds or the curtains. Step number 3, set up your camera in front of you to capture the full lighting of the room. And step number 4, the manifestor plus the source of light and the light switch should be visible by the camera at all times. To start, step number 1, turn on the video recording with timestamp. Step number 2, turn on a bright light in your room you're sitting in. Step number 3, apply Ananjana if you have between your eyebrows. Bring your awareness between your brow center and gently focus on the object, all the while connecting to Paramashiva. Step number 4, sit straight for 21 minutes, unclutching from all thoughts that arise during the continuous chanting of the Mahavakya. Enjoy the experience. Step number 5, after the Mahavakya subsides, verify how much the light has dimmed and ensure that you captured discernible dimming of the light while sitting in the space of manifestation on camera. Step number 6, manifestation range of outcomes. You successfully manifested if the light has started flickering, if the light has started dimming, and if completely switching off the light without touching the light switch. Step number 7, after recording the switching off the light, you can turn off your camera. And step number 8, celebrate with gratitude the manifestation of switching off the light without assistance. Next, let us listen to the spiritual instructions.
Power manifestation instructions. Let's sit straight, the head, neck and back in a straight line so that beautifully the Kundalini energy raises to the Agnya where the manifestation happens. Usually our awareness is on Muladhara, Swadhisthana and Manipuraha, where navel center, your below navel center. Here, bringing the awareness to your third eye and sitting straight will give us amazing possibility of power manifestation. Now let's understand few words that Bhagavan is repeatedly using. Shakti Pada, oneness, be unclutched, initiation. So here first we will see in Bhagavan's words what is Shakti Pada.
Let me give an introduction about what is Shaktipada process. Please understand. You would have seen or heard about how the chicken sits on the egg and hatches. Of course, in the modern countries, this does not happen. Machine sits on the egg and or egg sits on the machine. In those days, originally when hens and chicken were getting produced on the planet Earth, the hen used to sit on the chicken and hen used to sit on the egg and the chicken will come out of the egg. See, same way, Sadashiva sitting means the ultimate cosmic energy sitting on the individual soul
and making the individual soul into cosmic energy is Shaktipada. Hence, sitting on the egg and making the chicken happen, same way. You may think, how come, what is going on here? That hen is only sitting just by the body heat of the hen and the egg is becoming chicken. Because no surgery is done and nothing goes inside. It's only sitting. Same way, it is just sitting. It's only the presence, the Shaktipada, makes the individual soul into cosmic soul.
Beautifully, Bhagavan explained Shaktipada, how individual soul becomes cosmic soul. And let's listen to initiation.
See, let me explain the initiation. Initiation is the process beyond your intellectual understanding. The transmission of lamp happens. Now, you understood something intellectually. There is something which is not understood, which can't be transmitted through the words. That is transmitted. That's what we call initiation. Sometimes I tell people that unless you are initiated, the techniques do not create the result. The reason is you do not grasp completely whatever is expressed through words. Initiation is like it just transmits whatever need to be transmitted beyond logic and beyond words. People ask me why to wear this bracelet or this mala and all those things. This all will remind you. Why bracelet in the hand? It will remind you, before eating, did you meditate? It's a constant reminder. Before eating, let you be reminded, did you do the meditation? That is why this bracelet. That is why this mala. That is why this external things. Sometimes these external things does a big job of reminding you constantly. That is why take the help of external things also, nothing wrong. People ask me, why we can just be spiritual without having external things? If you can, really you are welcome. But I don't think anybody who speaks in that way is successful. I've never seen people becoming successful avoiding the external things, just having internal things. And it is just nice way of escaping from yourself.
Beautifully, Bhagavan explained initiation. Let's listen to be unclutched. What is to be unclutched?
The thoughts, every thought is independent, illogical, unconnected, and unclutched. Because the gap between two thoughts is too small. The neutral space between the two thoughts is too small. You think all the thoughts are connected and it is in the shape form. It is not. By your very nature, every thought is independent, illogical, unconnected, and unclutched. Within every thought, you experience a neutral space. When you change the gear, whether you go from neutral to 1 or 1 to 2 or 2 to 3 or 3 to 4 or 4 to whatever gears you may change, but every time you have to come to the neutral space. Only then you can go to the next gear. Even if you want to go from 2 to 3, you have to come to the neutral space. Only then you can go to 3. Same way, between every thought, you experience a neutral space. You experience a neutral space between every thought. Between every thought. That neutral space
silence is what I call peace or bliss. The peace which exists, the bliss which exists already in you, between every thought, the gap of the thought, the gap between the thoughts, that neutral space is the peace, is the bliss. When you understand you are unconnected, independent, illogical, and untouched by your very nature, you will start experiencing the neutral space in you, neutral space which exists in you. You will start living from moment to moment in spontaneity. We need to understand one more thing. This technique of being unclutched, it does miracles in your being, in the body level, or in the mental level, or in the being level. In every level, when you understand the truth, by your very nature, you are unclutched. The tremendous quantum transformation. You take a quantum jump, the transformation happens in quantum, not step by step. Just one jump. You take a quantum jump and experience the truth awakening in you.
The oneness space is the most beautiful space that Bhagavan himself is explaining how we are ferocious. Beyond the tiredness and boredom, we can experience the space of oneness and be unclutched.
Oneness is not imagination. Oneness is not visualization. Oneness is not even just declaration. It is your existence. An idea which is you is oneness. The idea which has become part of your very space, which does not tire you or bore you by the passage of the time, is oneness. Mahadeva says in the Agama, Sadashiva beautifully explains in the Agama, Kala, Yama cannot tire you or bring boredom to you if something becomes your space. Devi achieved the blissful state and union with Mahadeva on Shivaratri day because her space became oneness. Anything which brings tiredness or boredom has not yet become your space. If living in this body brings you tiredness and boredom, you are not going to be living in this body forever. When that becomes too much, you are going to drop it and move ahead. If you want to be in oneness forever, it should become part of your space, means you should become ferocious with you and break this very tiredness and boredom. Only when you deal you with the ferociousness, you break the tiredness and boredom. With that ferociousness, you need to make oneness as your space. Anything stands as an imagination in the length level, visualization in the breadth level, declaration in the depth level. If you open your time with ferociousness, it just sinks into space level. With this ferociousness, the time layer in you opens, and the oneness from imagination to visualization to declaration, it becomes your space. the way of existence.
The most important, Bhagavan says, being unclutched, understanding the Shaktipada, the oneness space, and chanting the Mahavakya. The Mahavakya, the power of the Mahavakya pushes you into the higher states of consciousness. Here Bhagavan himself explains how we can experience the Shaktipada, raised higher consciousness through Mahavakya.
It's one of the very important revelation by Sadashiva. All the electronic equipments work when the electrons are made to vibrate. That happens by the light. When the electricity is supplied, the light particle vibrates, the electronic equipment starts working. Just like that, the spiritual power and the umbilical cord connection, spiritual umbilical cord connection between you and me, it works with sound particle. For example, my integrity with the cosmos, Sadashiva, Mahasadashiva, it reverberates in certain level of frequency. When you are integrated to me, you also start reverberating in the same frequency. If your integrity goes down, that is when you start connecting with me only as a manager or this organization head or your Purvashram father, mother. Your connection with me goes down to the lower level if the integrity gets reduced. I was wondering what is the way we can bring people to the higher integrity immediately and the feeling connection, so they start manifesting the powers, they start staying in the space of Sadashivatva. Sadashiva revealed a beautiful sound. I can tell you, this is like a password. At any point, if you are not able to bring yourself to oneness, you are a little shaken, disturbed, or for some reason, you are not able to bring yourself to oneness. This is like a password. You type, whether your mind feels connected or not, the energy will start flowing in you beyond the depth dimension. You see, all mind oscillation, restlessness, all mental idea based feeling connected or not feeling connected is only length, breadth, depth level, not in the space level. But this sound will straight infuse energy from the space level. Like for example, if the power goes off, automatically the generator will get switched on and the power supply will be going on. So end result will not be lost. Whether government power supply or the generator power supply, end result will not be stopped. So whenever you feel little that oneness is, you are not catching it, just feed this password. Immediately the oneness will open up and you will start manifesting the powers, energy, and the whole space will shift. It is directly from Sadashiva. It's a beautiful sound. I don't even want to say it's a mantra. It is not even a mantra because there is no meaning in it. You can't derive a meaning for it. It just flashed like a password for all the initiations I am giving. One single password for all the initiations I am giving. And the initiations I gave, I am giving, I will be giving for all that. This is like one password. Don't even repeat like a mantra. Just feed like a password and it will just open up. Your whole being will open up. Listen carefully. It starts with the vibration Om. Listen and then repeat. Om.
Nityananda Maha Sadashivoham.
So Bhagavan gave beautiful explanation of how you can be in Shaktipada. Visualize Paramashiva who has come down as Bhagavan Nityananda Paramashivam from Kailasha. Remembering Paramashiva in your third eye, again and again, bringing your awareness to your third eye simply makes you manifest powers. Absolute unclutching. How Bhagavan said, the neutral zone, nothing ever touches the screen. Like same way, the movie does not touch the screen, whether it is happening in ferocious or any soft, beautiful, nothing touches the screen. Be unclutched like the screen. And to experience the state of Paramashiva, your inner space being completely unclutched. Complete completion to experience the space of Paramashiva. Inside us, the complete completion happens when we are in tune with Paramashiva. That everything is redundant and irrelevant. The essence of completion is irrelevant. Nothing matters in your life because everything is complete completion. Oneness with Paramashiva. How Bhagavan said, in ferocious breaking the boredom and tiredness, just being in the space of oneness with Paramashiva to manifest the powers of Paramashiva. Tyaga as Paramashiva is your only strength, now declaring complete integrity with Bhagavan to experience the being of Paramashiva. How Bhagavan said, chanting the Mahavakya raises your frequency and that is your only strength to manifest any reality. Being in this beautiful space of Paramashiva, you can experience such a beautiful space, state, powers and becoming the being of Paramashiva, manifesting whatever you want. Now, you'll be manifesting the powers, watching the oneness capsule and chanting the Mahavakya, Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. We'll be playing the Mahavakya and the oneness capsule for you to manifest powers. At end of the Mahavakya, you can start with the verification and sharing and causing. Thank you.
Nityananda Paramashivoham. 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 Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Varni open up, manifest in all of us. Let Paramashiva overflow, manifest the powers in all our third eyes. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. Om
Paramashivam. Nityananda 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 Paramashivam. Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Varni open up, manifest in all of us. Let Paramashiva overflow, manifest the power in all our third eyes. Om Nityananda Paramashivam. Om Nityananda Paramashivam. 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 Paramashivoham. Nityananda Paramashivoham. Nityananda Paramashivoham. Nityananda Paramashivoham. Nityananda Paramashivoham. Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Varni open up. Nityananda Paramashivoham. Nityananda Paramashivoham. Nityananda Paramashivoham. Nityananda Paramashivoham. Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Varni open up, manifest in all of us. Let Paramashiva overflow, manifest the power in all our third eyes. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. 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 Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Varni open up, manifest in all of us. Let Paramashiva overflow, manifest the power in all our third eye. Om Jnana Paramashivam. 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 Paramashivam. Om Jnana Paramashivam. Om Jnana Paramashivam. Jnana Paramashivam. Om Jnana Paramashivam. Om Jnana Paramashivam. Jnana Paramashivam. Om Jnana Paramashivam. Om Jnana Paramashivam. Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Om Jnana Paramashivam. Om Jnana Paramashivam. Om Jnana Paramashivam. Om नित्यानन्द परमशिवोऽहम् 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 Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Varni open up, manifest in all of us. Let Paramashiva overflow, manifest the powers in all our third eyes. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. Nityananda Paramashivoham. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. Nityananda Paramashivoham. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. Nityananda Paramashivoham. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham.
Verification process. Please ensure to verify the following. Number 1, the time and date stamp appear on your video. Number 2, video recording has a wide-angle horizontal view and captures the room. Number 3, the light source and the light switch are in full view during the entire process. Number 4, camera is on and has not moved for the entire session. Number 5, video recording is continuous without stopping and restarting during the manifestation process, and that zero editing is done to the video. Number 6, the light source is bright to start. Draw the drapes or the blinds. Number 7, recording captures the switching off of the light on its own with zero intervention inside or outside the room. Now that the verification process is complete, the next instructions will show you how to upload and share your video. Thank you so much for your participation.
Beautiful. We are at the end of the power manifestation, but most important part of the power manifestation. Here, we are going to share all that you have manifested with the social media groups. Here we have Sri Kailasha Kotyar Manifesting Power groups. Thousands of people are part of that. And you can share there and you can post your powerful cognition and the videos. The link is tinyurl.com/powermanifestation. It is at the left corner of the page. You can click on it and you can post your beautiful experience in the Power Manifestation group. Why sharing and causing is very important part of Power Manifestation. Bhagavan beautifully explains that sharing is pulling us out of delusion and causing is liberating us. We are the ones who need to start experiencing the higher states of reality, how we need to exist. Beautifully, Bhagavan explains when you are sharing with others the ultimate beautiful multidimensional logic, your brain rewires into the higher space of consciousness, the Turyatita state. Again and again, when you experience even a little bit, you share with the world, your experience becomes reality. Same thing when you cause others to come and get initiated for higher reality, you are caused into the higher purpose, the ultimate reality. Bhagavan says extreme causing, extreme power manifestation is extreme causing. So beautifully he explains how our strength is declared on Paramashiva. The power manifestation happens exactly in tune to that. And sharing with the world, continuously reiterating ourselves the experience that we had from the powerful cognition and manifesting the space of Paramashiva, the state of Paramashiva, the beings of Paramashiva, we become Paramashiva. Go on sharing and causing, which is the most important part of how you have experienced your reality. When you go to a temple, we pray and we see that beautiful experience happen in us, and then share with the world that how amazing the temple experience has manifested as your reality. Same way, when you manifest powers, when you share with the world, it becomes more and more the depth cognition of you, and you will be experiencing more powers. Even if you're manifested very small, it does not matter the quantity. Bhagavan says the quality is important. If it is authentic, please go ahead and share with the world. Do not doubt, have self-doubt, self-denial, self-hatred come and block anything. Experience the ultimate in deep seeking and gratitude. Bhagavan manifest in you with a deep prayer, that asking Bhagavan to make this reality as your existential reality. With that, let's end with the Purna Mantra, thanking Bhagavan for all these great experience. We have come to the end of the Power Manifestation course, and we end with the Purna Mantra. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purna Purnamadashyate Purnasya Purnamataya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat Sarvam Bhagavate Sri Nityananda Parameshivam Paduka Arpanamastu. Om Nityanandam. Thank you for participating in the Jnana Paddhati, Nityananda Jnana Paddhati course. Please go ahead and select more power manifestation and every day experience the ultimate reality for yourself. Nityananda.
Om Nityananda Paramashivoham